must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good morning, viewers, wherever you are in Africa. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television from the Political Command Center of the Legacy Trend. Thank you very much. Good morning. Back in Nairobi, Kenya, the studios of Political Command Center, again of Punchline Africa Television, is none other than the headquarters itself, Miriam Ogutu. Good morning.
A very good morning to you, and a very good morning to our panelists and also to our viewers, wherever they're watching us from this morning.
Thank you very much. From Malindi in the coast of Kenya, the Legacy Trend correspondent herself, Catherine Josephs. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga. Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, Professor Jared and Wesonga in advance. This is Karen Josephs from Malindi. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Thank you very much for giving an advance. The man might not appear. Thank you very much. Good morning, Wesonga in advance. Thank you very much from the headquarters somewhere in Nairobi, CBD, our in-house analyst, Professor Jared Chamberlain of the Church, Professor Jared Onyari, Conflict Resolution Chief Mediator, the negotiator. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga and my fellow panelists and our viewers this morning.
In anticipation of what is going to take place today, we start with COVID-19 and we go back to the headquarters of Punchline Africa Television. I am Dr. David Masanga from the Legacy Trend Political Command Center of Punchline Africa Television, the Legacy Trend in the world. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc, there for that introduction. In Kenya this morning, the cases today stands at 34,315. The death toll that the country has experienced so far due to COVID-19 is at 577, and recoveries is at 20,211. Uganda, the figures right now have surpassed 3,000, and they are at 3,037. The death toll is 32. Recoveries is 1,489. And in South Africa, they are the leading country in the continent, 628,259. The death toll is 14,263. Recoveries is 549,993. And the global cases as they stand across, the cases in Africa first, 1,264,417. The number of deaths in the continent is 30,104, and recovery rate now stands at 1,002,554. So we see that the recoveries in Africa also very, very impressive, over 1 million. And also we've seen that the cases have surpassed 1 million, about 1.2 plus. And the global cases, there's 25,906, 25,906,336. And the global deaths is 861,286. And recoveries are over 18 million there. Doctor, the cases in Kenya seems to be going down, but the ones in Uganda there seems to be going up. And I don't know what you make of that, the new regulations about the testing that the government of Uganda has made there. We might start seeing a lot of traffic there in the border between Kenya and Uganda.
First of all, many Ugandans sleep hungry without money. So to tell a Ugandan to test it for 5,000 shillings.
6,500.
Actually, 6,500. It's like you are killing a stone which has no food and water. Someone would prefer to buy this food, this money with for the family. I think there, for the first time since President Museveni started this war against COVID-19, that's the first error he's making. And this is going to bring, let it continue as it has been doing. Let's wait for, yes, let's wait for the measurements of, let's wait for all the final whistle. But increasing the money or putting money, you know why Uganda people have been going freely to test? There was no money issue. Now people will go back and hide in the cocoons. They will not come out. And the disease will be slowly coming out. That's the problem, Miriam.
And according to when the government was issuing these directives, I think was it on Saturday or Sunday there, they said they were hoping this strategy will help in bringing down the numbers there. I don't know, Professor, what do you make of this strategy there by the government? We know even here people are paying to get tested. If it's not through contact tracing and things like that, but it's not as exorbitant. I think it should be 1,000 shillings, but there right now is 6,500. And the people who have been caught up in this, the truck drivers who carry a lot of goods from Uganda towards Rwanda and other places, and then come back. So it has affected a lot of these people, and it has caused a bit of problems there at the border, because 6,500 is a lot of money. But the Ugandan government is saying this is a strategy they're using to ensure that the numbers are not high. I mean, so essentially, the reason behind this is to keep off people from coming to test, because they need the numbers as low as possible.
Miriam, thank you. My sentiment and my comments are no different from Dr. Masanga. I have said here before, Miriam, that the easiest way to deal with coronavirus 19 is to declare a national disaster by all governments in Africa and the world. And for us to combat this virus is to make the testing free. Miriam, look, in a time like this, people have lost jobs. So they rather die eating something, trying to look for something, but not to take it away. So what I want to do, I don't know whether this is a strategy. They want few people to go for testing so that they can be able to say that their curves are flattened, but it's unfortunate that the African governments or the governments of the world make COVID-19 testing free. In this, we'll be able to fight this pandemic, Miriam. Mm-hmm. Even 1,000 Miriam is unattainable. You don't tell someone who is in the slums, who has got problem even paying for his rent, that he goes for testing. So people have preferred to not to test. In fact, I saw they are wearing masks simply because the police could arrest them. So that's the most unfortunate thing, that this message has not sunk to the people, and the government are not trying to look on a strategy on how they can have mass testing. And that's why I can seek intelligence of World Health Organization. This is one area they can be able to assist us, rather than seeing the kind of criticism and unnecessary advice they are giving us. I expect World Health Organization and other development partners who mean well for African countries to give us money for more testing, Miriam.
I don't know, giving us more money, the money that, well, okay, yeah, we need that help. All right, Karen, this strategy there.
Well,
go ahead.
If you were to ask me the same question you asked Professor, then yes. I think it's not the right strategy here, because it will get to a point where it will be very difficult for us to contain the COVID itself. because we do not know to which extent it has gone, how many are infected. So if there are many infected, it will get to a point where we will not be able to contain it. So it's not the best strategy here. It's good for us to do a follow-up and know the exact number we're dealing with. We'll be able to control it and do the proper tracing and all of that. But if we use it as a strategy, making sure that we test a few people, then this whole thing will backfire, because we get to a point where we'll not be able to contain it. And considering the fact that it's not everybody who has 6,500, people are prioritizing here between food and going for the testing. Obviously, they'll put food first. So it's not everybody who can manage to give 6,500. And of course, it will cause a huge traffic at the border. So it's not the right strategy here. We should get a better one and make it affordable. Making it affordable, even 1,000 is just too much. Making it affordable here is having it at a level where everybody can afford it without a strain. It wouldn't just, and that means free. When you offer it free, nobody will strain or have to, think of balancing between food and testing for COVID.
All right, very well. And back here, our own situation and the latest from KEMSA, a story here on the Star newspaper. The front page is there, a doc that says how suspended KEMSA CEO threw himself under the bus. Now, the claims by KEMSA's suspended CEO that he was pressured by top health ministry officials to procure COVID-19 supplies could complicate his efforts to exonerate himself in the multi-billion shilling scandal. Claims by Jonah Manjari, the health CS Mutahi Kagwe. Claims by Jonah Manjari that health CS Mutahi Kagwe and PS Susan Muchache made direct contact with him to influence procurement could throw him under the bus. And let's just see what that story says there on page 7 of the Star newspaper. And it says that the Public Finance Management Act 2015 seeks to ensure public finances are managed in accordance with the constitutional principles. And then it continues. So last Friday, all right, but Kagwe and Muchache have distanced themselves from the claims. The assertions also exposed that the suspended CEO to the wrath of MPs who have pledged to personally hold him liable for procurement mess if he disregarded the law while acting on the alleged instructions. So as much as he wants to come out and say, that he got various requests from the health CS and PS Susan Muchache and other members of the COVID-19 emergency response through them, through text messages and phone calls and emails and all that. But should that be the case? But we're not saying because that thing, the matter is still under investigations. Then he still understands very well the rules and laws that comes when it comes to the procurement, especially in public sector there. So if at all he acted out of what he knows is the right thing, then he is the one to be held liable.
Miriam.
Yes.
Again, raise your hands. What did I say? Raise your hands, Karen. Hallelujah. I said it. I told you. I don't know why people in Kenya, lawyers who went to Nairobi University media, they don't know, they don't see these things. I saw I saw these senators, Olekina, who all shouting. They have the brains are zero. Look, the law is very clear. The Public Management Act does not bring in Mutahi Kagwe. Zero. You, Mutahi Kagwe, if Mutahi Kagwe was the one purchasing from his ministry, then the Public Management Act would catch him. If Susan Muchache was the one purchasing directly, then the Public Management Act would catch them. On this one, this so-called Joanne, someone, I don't know. I hate Jonah Manjari. I've got the name right now this time. Yeah, Manjari. Jonah Manjari. Jonah Manjari. Dr. Jonah Manjari. Now it will not change. He got himself in trouble. I told you on Monday. The Star is printing my words. They are not printing anything else. They saw my logic. They went back and read the public act, and because they have space, and they printed it. But this is Matsanga. Let's give a credit. We talked it here on this television station here. We said Mr. Manjari is on his own. He better go in another bus, a bigger bus. Nataya is busting on his stomach. He has eaten everywhere. He ate in Nakuru, he ate in Kiambu. Now he has been caught in Kepsa. There is a company that he actually gave from the friendship of Nakuru. I'm telling you now, more details have just emerged. Yes. A company that is linked to the man who has been saying, hey, I don't want to say it today. Let me keep quiet.
But of course, the CS Kagwe has come out and he told the Star he did not direct the CEO to procure the COVID-19 items from specific farms, but only delayed the government policy that emphasizes the use of locally manufactured items. So what CS Kagwe is saying that he told the CEO there of KEMSA, Jonah Manjari, is, can you hold on fast, because we have to look at even the best price, and from what President Uhuru Kenyatta has been insisting on. If we buy Kenya, we build Kenya. So as CS Kagwe was telling him, can you hold on fast before purchasing those things? Can we first look around and see if we could get some things we could source locally, and if not, that's when we can go abroad. And so that's where the phone call and perhaps the email is coming in, and the CS was directing him to just hold on fast and wait to see if the ministry is able to source locally, the items they were looking for, to source locally manufactured items in line with, of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta's Big Four agenda, supporting the local industry and strengthening our manufacturing industry. But so that's all. That is what Kagwe has been insisting from the start to now. But he did not direct him, now go and do business with this farm. He just told him, hold on, let's first source these materials locally first. But our CEO there did not hear. Professor
Miriam,
Manjari is in trouble.
It is just a matter of time. Whoever dipped his hand to COVID funds will be caught. Whoever did not follow the law, you will be caught. I'm happy with what Jonah Manjari said, the CEO is saying. He said the PS and the CEO and the CS made requests. It's on, when you go before a court of law, or when you write a statement, Miriam, you are charged by your own words. Not anybody else. Nobody. He said they made requests. Him as a custodian of the law. The who is charged, he could have told the CS, the PS, the law does not allow. Miriam, we are in a modern Kenya. I have seen areas where even the bosses, even the board of management of organization, they do things not according to the law. The courts have always rectified. So, and this one reminds me sometimes back. Let me tell you that argument, the days of Goldenberg. I can remember the BS who was called Dr. Koinange, and the deputy governor for Central Pangiliungu. It's unfortunate all of them are passed, they are the rate. They were trying that the funds were coming from above. Na President Moi alikuwa anawauliza, kwani huko Central Bank unaona Muhindi akifanya kazi huko? Can you quote above? So long as it is not documented, so long as someone has not hacked the email of the PS and the CS and tried to write all the kind of nonsense on the emails, and Miriam, the CEO for KEMSA, is in trouble, and they will go in jail. He will go in jail because he has not complied with the law. Tell your boss that the law does not allow. Let them just go ahead and sack you. The courts will always rectify and remedy that you are innocent. But on this one, Jonah, now you will be swallowed by the big fish. Keep on praying for 3 days, maybe it will swallow you back.
All right, and Kagwe said it is a normal practice for CSS to consult and direct government policies to all government parastatals. He explained that communications of his nature are always in writing, rubbishing Manjari's claims that he received instruction through phone calls and text messages. And of course, as Kagwe added, that the management of the institution is the CEO's work. So the buck stops with Dr. Manjari there. And now Mochache, on the other hand, wrote a protest letter to the acting CEO seeking evidence of claims by the authority that she directed it to procure the items from specific suppliers. The PS has been put on the spot over a letter she allegedly wrote to KEMSA on April 15th, purportedly directing the authority to procure the items from specific farms. But in the protest letter, the PS listed all the communications and meetings she held with the agency. Mochache said KEMSA had already procured items worth 2.1 billion by April 1st. So this letter, she said had written, she did allegedly on the 15th of April, but to protest. But already KEMSA had already gone ahead and purchased on April 1st. They already purchased some of these items worth 2.1 billion there. So Jonah Manjari here, he cannot really escape. And I think when you were watching the grilling session there in Parliament and the way some of the members of that committee were directing the questions, they were quite, they really were hoping to take a certain route there. So do we just wait for these investigations to be concluded, Karen? And when you now see this information emerging, the new information coming out, is now can we understand where that politics was coming in and why maybe a section of politicians were tweeting and wanting, and accusing, some of these people of corruption and all that, and they were very hasty to do that instead of waiting for investigations to conclude?
Well, yes, we can wait for the investigation because they've already started, and it's good that we have a report from the investigations. But then everything is so open. It's very open. He is directly involved. And then the worst thing here, he even claims that the list that was attached to that letter was already was generated by KEMSA. So it's very clear here that Kagwe is not in it, and the other
Peers.
Yes.
Peers.
So everything is open. However, it's important for us to get the report from the investigations. But then at this point, I think it should have dawned to him that he is on his own. And yes, there's a possibility that, and it's also very clear, there's a problem that politicians who are trying to come in. That's the problem we have in the country right now. They find an issue and they come in and politicize everything. But it's very clear that Kagwe is not involved. Jonah will have to face this one on his own. It's very clear, and we have so many reasons to back up that. In fact, he cannot escape it. He cannot. But it's true that we have politicians who are coming in and they are trying to politicize this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, very well. Doctor, does this now explain, as this new information is unfolding there, does this now explain why a section of politicians in this country took this matter running and started, accusing, CS of corruption and all that? And of course, the PS Mochache has been on top of the names that have been mentioned to have, influenced even some of these tenders there. Instead of just waiting, for the rule of law to take its course and for the investigations and perhaps politicize this matter, does that explain why the politics came in and maybe a few politicians wanted to take advantage of this situation, knowing perhaps there's really, nothing much in terms of what they were looking for?
First of all, Miriam, I've sent you something there, all of you. I think you can look at your phones. And briefly, Karen, I don't know, you can look at your phone, but you are using the phone. You can look at it and see. Karen?
Yes, I'm looking at it.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There you are. Have you seen the reason now?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the same company which is number one, which brought the PPEs, the equipment on as before? Whose company is that?
Mm-hmm.
There you are.
All right. And yesterday, Doctor, I don't know if you watched. Yes.
Now it explains to you, as we sit here, we can see why someone wants this thing covered. Why? Before Mochache even called KEMSA, the materials were already here.
2 weeks prior, they'd already been bought.
Yes. The materials were here by that company, actually. And this is the second time this company has been involved in another, you remember the clearing, because they are the people who does clearing and forwarding. They know where these goods, where the ships are. You know there are ships which are sailing on the sea. You know it, you live near the maritime. Ships pack sugar and stay on the sea with sugar. When they hear there is a shortage of maize, the ship will run very fast to Mombasa and they say we are here with the maize.
From Mexico.
Yes. That's why you saw the famous Mexico maize
that got here
arriving here. Now, Stephen, you have been given that company. Don't play it. Leave it. But I wanted my friends to see from that background, to see why some people are agitated. Why? You can see why even somebody changed her alliance. Allegiance was changed and started supporting because the machine were coming. You know, we are talking of not simple money. There you are, your way song has arrived. We are talking of not simple money. We are talking of huge money, Miriam. So look at that. From that information, we can now have a background to discuss and agree to disagree, and knowing very well Mr. X was behind pulling strings, but he wanted to wash this scandal on other people. There you are.
All right, very well. Wesonga, very good morning to you.
Yes, very good morning, Miriam Ogutu, Dr. David Matsang, Professor Jared Onyari, and Karen Joseph Martin. A very good morning to you all.
All right, so we were looking on this story before we move. Perhaps we get your thoughts on this. How suspended KEMSA CEO threw himself under the bus, and PS Mochache has wrote a protest letter there because, you know, she's been widely mentioned. She's saying the letter that she's purported to have written, making inquiries on what is happening, was written on the 15th, and yet these items had already been procured by April 1st. So even the procurement at KEMSA, she didn't know about it. Some of the items worth 2.1 billion had already been procured by April 1st, and the letter she wrote that Manjari has been saying, she wrote to him, was written on the 15th. And also Kagwe said the only thing he demanded of, not even demanded, he suggested to the KEMSA CEO was, can you wait before, ordering these items from outside and see if we can source locally manufactured items in line with the policy of the government. And as we know right now, President Uhuru Kenyatta is very keen on supporting local manufacturers. And so that will be one of the ways to support our local manufacturing, create jobs and things like that. So in line with those policies, because the ministries are the ones who are supposed to be implementing even the big four agendas by the government there. So can we get the locally manufactured, items, the ones we can get, and if we fail to get a certain number, so maybe we could get from outside, but first can we put a hold to that first and let us get the locally manufactured items. So that is what Kagwe told the KEMSA CEO when he's alluding that he was texted, he was emailed. So these are some of the conversations that is alleged to have taken place. So in this case, has the KEMSA CEO thrown himself under a very big bus there, as Dr. said earlier?
Yes, Miriam, when you feel the luster of his allegations and the way he's talking, then it gives you an element of a man who is under siege, a man who has been used as a conduit by some powerful individuals in government to be able to embezzle this amount of money. And yesterday, watching the Jubilee Vice Chairman David Murathe speak, then you notice that there's more than meets the eye in this scandal. And perhaps those ones who are wailing more than the bereaved could be actually the ones who are responsible for this gruesome theft of public money. So I think from where I stand, this CEO, or this parastatal head, should be brought under very, very serious probe. He should be investigated thoroughly so that we know the faces behind his mischievous ways, the way he acted. You know, this is a man who has kept a whole minister in the dark. He has gone against the laws of procurement. Even when Mochache is writing, you understand that she was also kept in the dark in whatever happenings that are taking place in KEMSA. So that tells you that perhaps he was working in cohorts with some few powerful individuals who are interested in this amount of money. And now that the deal has gone deep south, this is a man who is trying as much as possible to clutch at any pair of straws so that he could go down with someone innocent who is not even privy to whatever happened in KEMSA. So I think thorough investigation needs to be done. The DCI and other investigative agencies should not leave any stone unturned. And Manjari should be very truthful to Kenyans and tell us the real faces behind this haste at KEMSA, and not to apportion blame to any Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Mm-hmm. All right, also very interesting there on the Star newspaper, the main headline there saying tenders, how state agencies defied Uhuru, National Treasury yet to link e-procurement system to IFMIS and PPIP. Because as we were talking here yesterday, looking at what has been happening around here, and when President Uhuru Kenyatta the other day ordered for everything to be made open, the tendering process in KEMSA and other government institutions there. And we said this was the first time, because this directive had been given earlier, a few years ago, but the National Treasury is yet to link the e-procurement system to IFMIS. Doctor, are we having a problem there at the National Treasury that needs to be sorted out? And what should President Uhuru Kenyatta do, because these people have defied him?
Let me tell you, I've been saying here, and I said it 4 years ago, that if President Kenyatta wants to kill corruption, let him lock this thing called IFMIS, and they bring him all the locks or the PIN numbers. He locks them in that big safe in the State House. So everybody who wants to get any money from IFMIS goes to ask the president. That's how Kibaki used to manage this thing. You could not pass any money without Kibaki knowing. No, whether at night, Kibaki at night would be watching his golf, but he knows how much money is on the account. So the president should take over the treasury. IFMIS has been the letdown of Kenya's system. Whoever brought the word IFMIS killed the whole country. We have got one man who has been actually hacking the numbers, the PIN numbers, and the what are they called?
Password.
Password of IFMIS. We know him. They know him. The DCI know him. They have ever arrested him before. I don't know why they cannot arrest him now and lock him completely. Then you will see no stealing of IFMIS numbers, password. Someone goes to pass money, huge amounts of money. So I said this should have been done a long time ago to save this country from having too much money going down the drain. Thank you.
All right, very well. Professor, this is a directive that had been given before that seems to have been ignored by the state officers there, and President Uhuru Kenyatta was forced to issue the similar directive, the other day. Are we likely to see them, following this directive, or will they continue to ignore it? And do we have a problem at our national treasury? And what would you advise President Uhuru Kenyatta to do?
Miriam, I did say yesterday, and I'm still pronouncing myself today, that the president gave a directive in 2018. He said all the procurements of the contractors, let us see them online on the portal of the ministries. It was not complied with. He has issued another one. And I've told you, Miriam, and I've said that corruption is very endemic in this country. It is a cancer in this country and is rooted. Miriam, who is this not complying with the direction of the president? Do we start from Kinyo? He has worked in the treasury, and he should be able to understand. The president does not give directive in vain, Miriam. Those are orders, and they're supposed to be complied. If I were him, I would throw everyone from that treasury. And the only way, Miriam, we were talking about Rwanda yesterday, and everybody is admiring that country, which is the size of Kajiado County, for having done things in the right way. Kagame is answered on. You saw what Dr. Masanga was telling us last time. He dealt with his brother. He goes to see him in prison. He briefs him on how the family is gone. So I am recommending to the president, if Kibaki managed to monitor that no money gets out of the government accounts without this knowledge, that is the way to go. Otherwise, you will go in history as a president who gave directives and they were never complied. Sasa they have been was the same wacha same tu adadu. Not going to work. So it means there are some forces. And when we are going to go to the records, we are going to see the challenges and the obstacles. These are the people who are supposed to help you. They are not helping you. So you appear like you are just a ram duck. So, Miriam, that's very unfortunate to my side, that the presidential directive and orders must be complied with.
Very interesting perspective there, Professor, that you brought. And they're just sitting there waiting, President Utadu, because the president issued another similar directive on the 14th of June 2018, as Professor has said there, but the executive order, 2018 executive order, was entirely ignored, Karen. At this level of impunity, where does these state officers get it from? And why can't we enforce the law that I'm sure is there, that should check on things like this?
I'm also surprised, where do they get the courage to do against or to go against the president's order? I don't know, but it's because they have a backup. Because they do this with so much confidence. Okay, the president says this and we just don't do it. Because if you go to the website, Miriam, it's just general information there. We're not given in details, just general information. And they say that it's because some procurement officers were set aside for some time. There was some investigation going on, I understand, some time back. But that's not enough reason for the website to be empty. We have general, we just have tenders, they're general, and there's nothing going on. So the fact that there are other procurement officers set aside for some time for some investigation going on, that is not enough reason to go against the orders. What we can do is put sanctions against these non-compliance agencies. You know, we shall have, if we have sanctions against these non-compliance agencies, then we shall have this one sorted out. But if we keep quiet, then we shall have it over and over again. But it's very disrespectful, and it's very, it's just not proper to have an order and then you give excuses. You know, I'm a teacher and I don't like excuses at all. If I give you some work, I want it done. And when it comes to excuses, I don't take that. So we should not just entertain excuses just because some people are set aside. You know, it's just not enough reason. So the excuse they're giving us here is just not.
Should not be acceptable.
Tell us more.
Because this was a government directive. Yes.
The teacher always says the work must be done. These excuses of Obado and this and that should not come. Obado now blames everybody in Kenya, blames the other. Mr. Obado is blaming now who? We didn't tell him to steal money and transfer to the in-laws. We should try. In-laws have not all in-laws have been exhausted. There are still some remaining. So the investigation should go deeper. A teacher says, I give you an exam, do it or fail it. You hear it? You have heard it, Mr. Wesonga, today. Either you pass the exam or you fail.
Yes.
Or you listen or you walk out of my class.
Exactly. Now, the ICT cabinet.
It is getting more interesting, and this is the Punchline Africa Television from the legacy trend in the general headquarters of the legacy trend to the general headquarters in Nairobi. You either work or walk out of the class.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, very well. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Mucheru, Daniel there, told the Star his ministry's task was to provide the platform for listing the tenders, the website, and he's quoted as saying, ours is to provide the platform, which we have done. The website is managed by the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority and the National Treasury. If the website is not up to date, then it is for PPRA to tell. That's why I said we have a problem. We seem to be having a problem at the National Treasury and at the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority there. So, Daniel, from your perspective, I don't know, from what we see here, because this was a very direct directive there from President himself, and there has been, would you say there has been a deliberate act to ignore this directive?
Yes. Okay, let me tell you, Miriam, something here. You know, as much as President Uhuru Kenyatta has promised Kenyans that he wants to leave a legacy, it is very crystal clear that while the president was of a positive thought of transforming this country and being able to leave behind a very solid legacy, the deputy and some of his political allies were so much determined into looting this country. And I can tell you for a fact, President Uhuru Kenyatta needs to do some kind of an overhaul to the government. He needs to do some cleaning work to be able to get some of these parastatal heads out of their positions. We do have a lot of very, very corrupt individuals who have been strategically been positioned in various government agencies who act as a conduit for someone in a higher office in government, in that they always transmit money. They steal money from the coffers and they pass them over to him. And let me ask you, Miriam, you know, before coronavirus happened, we saw a lot of millions of shillings being dished out in Harambes all over the country every weekend. Sometimes it could go up to a tune of 50 million donated. Where did this person get the money from? And that now tells you that in government, President Uhuru Kenyatta should do some thorough cleaning. We do have some corrupt people who have been strategically placed in those positions to be able to steal money for someone. And the case of Manjari is one classical example of that, of such individuals who are stealing money on the behest of someone else. And now when they are caught, they start now apportioning blame and bringing confusion in the whole matter. And these are people who are so much hell-bent to ensure that the president does not achieve his legacy. So according to me, Miriam, for the president to be able to achieve the Big Four agenda without so much meandering and maybe being backtrailed by anyone else, he should be able to do an audit of the government, especially the parastatal heads and the ministers, to be able to tell those ones who are not up to task and face them out, so that we do not continue losing billions of shillings of taxpayers' money and under these scrupulous dealings. So that is my perspective. And you saw, Joe Mucheru has told you quite clearly that the duties that the president gave them, as Karen said, as a teacher, they have been able to do their homework and they provided a platform. But we have these people who are corrupt, who want things to still be done in the old-fashioned way, where money could not be accounted for, who are still adamant to move into the new platform that could project transparency in the systems of government. So these are the people who are stealing money, public money through those unseen dealings. So I think it is high time the president cracked a whip and sent all these corrupt parastatal heads, ministers and PSS back home, and just got a team that is well aligned to his agenda, to his war on corruption and service delivery blueprint in serving the nation.
All right, very interesting cartoon here on the Star newspaper. This is what they call cartel, and this is the loot. And they're saying goodbye, health. Ministry of Education, see you very soon. Come on now. Okay, I'll just leave that there for our, like a food of thought. But Doctor, yes.
Talk about the Ministry of Education.
Yes. It appears now we're there. This.
You know, Miriam, let me come in here. Mm-hmm. The legacy trend protects the president. I want to tell you that today. We don't have equipment to protect him like guns, but we protect him on social media and anywhere he goes. Mr. President, the Ministry of Education, don't open schools. Don't open schools. Let's open schools carefully. Losing 4 months, 3 months left is not a big problem. This question of opening schools, trying to take our children there. Me, I am totally, and I want to put myself on the record here, I am totally opposed. I'm a parent, I produced, my children are big, grown up. I don't mind. If people want to sacrifice theirs, they can sacrifice. Let's try with the higher institution first. Open a university, people who can wash their hands. People who can wash their hands. People who can go to the toilet, then come back and wash hands. People who can cook at the university. But not to take these small children in the primary schools. Please. I'm appealing to this. That cartoon is correct. People have lacked money. They have lacked what to deliver. Now they are saying open, 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 open. Open and go where? I asked this question in May. You wanted the world to open and go where? The flights to London are only normalizing. Trying 2 flights in a week. Even some of us want to try one of the flights. Let other people take a lot of this corona from the seats. then we can come. We have not rushed. I don't know whether Karen is still around or not, because she seemed to be gone.
I'm back.
Look, let's not rush to open schools. You're a teacher, that's why I'm asking. We have lost a year. Let it go. Let it go. Leave these children at home. Leave the children at home. You Kenyans don't want to hear. Even the British, where education came from, they are not accepting the smaller ones to go to school first. My daughter is returning to the university tomorrow, Friday. My daughter is returning on Friday to Cambridge. Do you know what? If I tell you here, I can cry tears. Even what I lost. Miriam, do you know that the money we paid, I paid for the whole term, beginning of semester number 2. She should be in semester number 3 now. £7,000 for accommodation in Cambridge. I'm going to pay another £7,000. They haven't even reduced because Corona was there. Because if you don't pay, you lose the hall. To have a hall in Cambridge, a room in Cambridge where to stay, it's like having a room near Queen Elizabeth. But because I want good for my daughter, even I sent mom to go and check, to do what we call thorough police forensic checks, to news, sikia kwa room iko nini, nyumba imetengeneza mzuri, is there fumigation. She went there yesterday. Hakuna kumimi kuallow my daughter. This is the only jewelry I have. This Kalasti bond. Kazuri sana. I cannot allow anybody to kill her because of carelessness. I told the mother to go. Mama, you go there first. She went quietly. She says she wants to see the things. Because she left her things, the bed, everything there, the saucepan is a house. It's a house we pay 7,000 per semester. Pounds, which is 1 point something, I think. Some people who are mathematicians who work in the places like this man here, this one here, this Wesonga, can calculate the amount.
1.1 million.
Yes, it's gone. Walikula. So they want another one, 1.1. Okay, but money is not everything. Life is more important. To keep our children home is better. Professor Magoha, President Uhuru Kenyatta, this disease has got round 1, round 2, round 3. It could have round 4. Let's first find the medicine. Plate. By January, there will be something, vaccination. There will be medicine. Then you release our children. But for now, walai ya Mungu, hakuna, walai, mahara, hapana, hapana, hapana. Me, this one I disagree. And I have disagreed openly. Leave the children at home. Those who are hearing me take the message, leave the children to stay. We have lost a year already. Professor Onyari, what are we rushing for? Are textbooks going to be finished? Why are we sending younger boys? These younger boys who don't know even how to clean their bodies when they have left toilet. You want to send them to school to die there? To worry? These teachers, she's a teacher. I want to begin with you. You're a teacher. Do you follow the child to a toilet?
No, I don't.
Or you wait until the child comes out and she's smelling, or he's smelling badly, and then you say, go back, let's see what you have done. Tuzungumiziane ukweli. Tuambiane ukweli. Hii mambo ya kusema mnachukua watoto ya watu, mnawasukuma shule, mashule hata hana maji, mashule hata hana choo, mashule hata hana sahani, mashule hana nguo. Mnachukua watoto ya watu mnatupa huko. Kwa nini? Nyenye wa Kenya zamani, jamani, mnakimbia wapi nyenye? La, watu gani hao? Shida gani? Kupenda pesa mingi, mnataka kusukuma watoto sasa mfungue shule. Mmesikia iko 1 billion iko hapo. Watu wanataka kungoa 1 billion. Wasema, "Yose fungua. Mtataka kuua watu." Wacha tuambiane ukweli. Let the president hear, because the president is foot soldiers. We know, we talk with people. You talk with people who supply hot air. We find them in hotels conspiring to supply hot air with these ministry officials. Mr. President, that's the truth. Hakuna kufichana. Tufiche paka lini? This is September. 3 months left to the end of the year. Why do you bring the children now here? And then in December you tell them to go for Christmas. Mwache. That's rubbish. Close you do your program. I've gone. These things in Kenya annoy people.
All right.
I'm speaking as a parent. I don't have younger children. I'm sorry. Mine are grown and they are well off. They are not Obado. They don't steal from Obado's type. And none of them is an in-law to Obado's children. Yes. They all. I told them never to turn back. You know, one of the things I told my children, never to marry any Ugandan. And if I find any of them marrying a Ugandan, you will see. I will not even accept you. Because all the Ugandans who came to London came through my hands to apply for asylum. Now you marry these people whom I filled certificate, I filled the application for them. Wow. Even Museveni's relatives who chased us away, they arrived and found me there. My friend, I speak with experience. And I find one of my daughter, my marrying this one. Told them come, I brought you to the destiny. I've opened the university schools for you. They are free in London. Some people who went to London went to sleep and make money and tell us we are building a house in Muyenga. So build a house, so what? You might not sleep there. Now Corona has come. Can you sleep in that house? Can you sleep there? How many calories do you spend money sending to build a house? People who are going to fly from London to go to Nairobi, they come and they say, how much is this house? He comes with 100 pounds, 100,000 pounds, which he has saved. How much is that? That is almost 17 million Kenya shillings. Asema, how much weighs the agreement for the house? Bring land title. This is it cash. Isn't it what they are doing now? Wewe unakufa huko na calories zinatenda kila siku. You don't want to go to school. That you are working so hard. I must work hard. I must work hard. That's what they did. No school. Here, empty. They came out of empty. Here, hakuna kitu, hakuna. There is nobody there now. Tell me who is there. They don't have the energy. They don't have the brains even to stand to know that there is no test tube. You want to conduct a scientific election without test tubes. Do you have brains? And you are busy collecting money from people that there's an election. Are you mad? These are the Ugandans you saw who criticized Matanga. They criticized me while me and the Professor Ochikoya, we were going to school. After Ochikoya digging graves, I found him digging graves, in North London, in Camden. I went to the cemetery and I removed this Ochikoya. I said, my friend, in Africa, you don't do this. This is an abomination, Ochikoya.
Let's go back to school.
He's now a lawyer. He's a full lawyer. It's a very big abomination to dig a grave. Grave diggers are specialized people in Africa, and they have to cleanse themselves every day. I told Ochikoya, don't try. Come and be my bouncer at my nightclub. Because he was tall and he was a former policeman. So he became my bouncer in my nightclub. He's here. Then I heard him saying that he was writing a letter to me sometime last year. I said, Ochikoya, I went to him. I said, you have forgotten when I removed you from Camden, from digging graves. You want now to write a letter to me, even if you want money. He said he apologizes. He became my bouncer. And we used to do 400 pounds a weekend for a bouncer. I used to make like 22,000 pounds in a weekend. 22,000. I have never stolen anybody's money. Until my children got educated, my house bought it in my own sweat. So for me, why I'm emphasizing this, the children are more important. I worked all this hours, all this work. Why Miriam? For children. If I was alone, I could have married a Mzungu. A very nice, slender Mzungu. And come to Africa like some people on the show. I have married a Mzungu is here. So what? But for me, all the time I've been there, I've never even dated a Mzungu.
All right. Okay.
When I go to the nightclub, they come to me, I say, so what? Who are you? Don't even come closer to me. That is my principle. So I am talking this background for you people to know the question of children. of returning to school, when in London, no school is open. No school is turning the smaller children to school. Someone wants to eat that money. Miriam, you are the one who showed the cartoon. Show us the cartoon. Show the cartoon. You said there is a cartoon here. I don't have it.
Production.
You show it.
Production had it there. I think it's on page 4 of, page 3 of the Star newspaper there. There's a photo there, picture of a cartel carrying some loot there. And it's some quote there, "Goodbye health, Ministry of Education, see you soon." So, and we know that Professor
This
Magoha.
is the cartoon.
Yes.
This is the cartoon, isn't it, Miriam?
They have it on the screen. Yeah, and Professor Magoha, alluded to the same a couple of weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago, he said, he's being pushed by cartels to open schools early.
Don't open! Don't! President, don't try! This thing is coming for second wave. I am telling you. Don't underrate Matsanga's international study of intelligence system. This thing is coming. This thing is like a warfare. Iko mtu ana release kadogo, release kanakuja. Sasa Italy is quiet. Italiano, they are quiet. Why? Can you explain to me why Italy? No, is there anybody talking about Italy?
No.
Why? If you have not studied the international intelligence system, shut up. Shut up. This thing is very bad. And the earlier people study it, get a right assessment and give to their African presidents, the better. If you panic the way you are panicking in the other topic we are coming at 11:12 of ICC, how Africa is stupid, how Africans are stupid. In the second topic, I'm going to hammer it home, how we are stupid people.
All right.
This thing is a warfare. This is not, the guy in WHO, professor, the guy knows what is stage. Have you seen he has earmarked some countries in Africa?
Oh, yes.
That he targets. Kenya yesterday, he has seen the figures in Kenya going down. And guess what the man has done? He came out yesterday and he did something very dangerous. Was it yesterday, newspaper? Yes, he said the Kenyans are masking. That's a very dangerous word to tell a country. When people are suffering here, some of us are not even sleeping with our women because of COVID. On the same bed, we have separated bedrooms. You are stupid, Dr. Tedros. Very stupid. Again, you are very stupid. You are a thief. Dr. Tedros is a thief. And for me, I know him. Let any Kenyan official ask me. I worked with Dr. Tedros. Look at what he was doing to Kenya now. He's saying Kenya is masking. Do you give confidence by saying Kenya is masking? Do you give Kenyan government and the people here to wash their hands? You already doubted the Kenyan government, isn't it? The Kenyan government has been doubted with Songa. We are in chaos. Even if you produce your results, the WHO will not say we have come to 5%, therefore we have calved. It will still give us to 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, around there, because we have failed and refused to buy their medicine. Mnisikilize leo. Mnisikilize leo.
Yes, yeah, you are don't care.
We have refused. The Kenya government has refused to buy the idea of Bill Gates. This is a warfare, don't you see? Show me The city of Wuhan without shops open. Now go to Wuhan and see. People have gone back to the same markets. So are we not all right? This is Africa. Let's keep washing our hands.
All right, Doctor.
Let's keep washing our hands. Let's keep washing hands. Let's keep away. Let's not take our children back to school. Jermaine, don't. This one, I disagree. If the president announces that the children go back to school, Mr. President, these people will fix you later. These people will fix you later. I swear. They will take you to the judge. They will say you took people to school to die. Deliberate is a crime against humanity. People are playing with this. Let 300 children start dying per day. Then you will see the tone will change against the president. Senor. So why do you take the children to school who don't even know? Some of them, by 10 o'clock, they are already sleeping. If a huge man like me, I am talking on this microphone and I'm sleeping. What about a child? You have seen me sneezing, snoring here. You think the doctor is there until you call doctor. I must be calling doctor. Doctor is when I hear. Because, look, what about a kid? Let our children be home. Let them look for a way. We have lost a year. A year lost is good enough. Thank you very much.
All right, very well. And speaking of which, President Uhuru Kenyatta, legacy in line with, success, challenges, and the obstacles of President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. One thing that has become very apparent while we were going through the headline, especially on the Star newspaper, where it says the tenders, how state agencies defied Uhuru. Because these ministries, these state agencies, they're supposed to be working together to be able to implement President Uhuru Kenyatta's, Big Four agenda. They're supposed to be implemented, especially through the ministries there. So if these very important ministries are the ones who are defying the orders from the president, so is it about time, the same thing he did with the ministries, some of the ministries, perhaps President Uhuru Kenyatta should go back and relook and see, maybe he should put people in place who would have the same vision like he has of serving and service delivery, so that he's able to ensure that his legacy is moving on in the right direction. Otherwise, this state agency, will they be working to undermine, President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy, and is President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy under threat if something is not done with these state agencies that go defying some of these directives by President himself? We start with Daniel, then we'll go to Karen, and then Prof.
Yes, thank you, Miriam. And one thing I always overemphasize is that the president needs to have the right kind of people who have the same mentality, people who have the same alignation in terms of aligning to the president's agenda. And world over, you saw when Trump got into power for his first term, to get some people who are in the previous office of President Barack Obama out of office, so that he could get in people who are so much aligned to his agenda, people who believe in the same policies that he believes in. And the same thing happens when Kibaki came into power, and he had to clean all the judiciary, and judges who had been found to be corrupt from the previous regime of Nyayo were told either to resign or face the vetting committee, which could spell very severe consequences for the actions that they were found to have done, which were in contravention with the law. So for a president to be able to achieve his agenda, for a president to be able to deliver a legacy to the nation, he needs to have people who are so much aligned to him, people who believe in whatever he advocates for. And that one even goes to as far as even the judiciary, the Chief Justice. We should have a Chief Justice who speaks in the same accord as the executive, so that the executive is able to accomplish its mandate to the people of Kenya. So I think from my perspective, it's only noble that the president does a very, very serious audit and gets out these people who are still living in a world that is overtaken by events, people who are not ready to align by what the president is spelling to them. So let them get out. The president should hire another new team of people who are vibrant, people who are well awake about the Big Four agenda, people who will be able to assist President Uhuru Kenyatta really surge on when it comes to the Big Four agenda. And at the end of the day, it will be a very, very great success and a tangible legacy that the president will leave behind. Otherwise, if we still continue having people who have been held hostage by cartels and other scandals in government, that will really have a very, very negative effect on the president's agenda, and perhaps that will derail it quite significantly. So it is it's good that the president gets the people who are very well much aware of what he wants, and people who have the goodwill and the spirit to assist him in achieving his agenda.
Right, Karen, is it about time perhaps President Uhuru Kenyatta had a shake-up in some of these very important, institutions there? Because if you give a directive and you expect somebody that is working under you, these ministers, he's the one who appoints them, and then he gives them a directive and it's not followed. Is it about time that perhaps head starts rolling because this level of impunity goes ahead and becomes one now of the obstacles that may ensure that President Uhuru Kenyatta does not deliver on his Big Four agenda or his legacy at all? Should he do some cleanup in some of these very important institutions? Karen.
Yes, Miriam. Wesonga has said it all. It's time we do some shake-up. We need to do some sieving, because if you're not headed to where I'm headed to, then why are you with me? And they'll be there to paint it black. They want to paint black the legacy. So it's good for the president to know that there are people who are with me and there are people who are not with me. So what do I do with those who are not with me? Let them shift. Let them give a space, for those who are ready to work with him. So yes, in these important ministries, I think that is what we need to work on right now, because it's very clear, based on what has been happening lately, it's very clear that the people who are there to paint it black, to paint the legacy black. And I think this is the right time for the president to do some sieving. So this will help a lot, because we're talking of education here. We're talking of a very sensitive sector that you cannot joke around with. And the right thing for him to do right now is for him to do some reshuffle, because like I say, we've been talking about this disease some time back. There are people who are lacking insight, and they're in sectors that are very sensitive, you cannot talk about. So those who are suffering from Osono, what do you call it? Osonogno, whatever, they should give, yes.
Anosognosia.
Anosognosia, yes.
Anosognosia. The lack of insight.
Yes, so you are lacking insight. And yeah, so this is the right time for the president to do so. So I agree totally with Wesonga that he should do some shake-up in these ministries.
All right, thank you so much, Professor. Professor?
Yeah, Miriam.
Yes, is it about President Kenyatta went back to the drawing board and checked his list and realized that these people that is put in these positions are just working to undermine his efforts, and perhaps this might cost him his legacy that is working so hard to leave to Kenyans? How do you give directives and then somebody that you've given this job decides to ignore it? I don't even understand.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam, for that question. And I have to say that President Uhuru Kenyatta needs divine intervention. The time is moving very fast. He has put things on the table which need to be done. And apparently people who are supposed to assist him are not assisting. Miriam, as President Uhuru Kenyatta is working for his legacy, he is being faced with corruption, fighting back. There's a lot of politicking, even when it is unnecessary, Miriam. You can see the ambition of his principal assistant, the deputy president. a terrible ambition. Miriam, you can see the COVID-19 has come. See what he has done, even the few coins we have put there, what people are doing for that one. Miriam, success in politics have taken the center stage. Miriam is giving directions and they are not being followed. So if they are not being followed, there are some forces elsewhere. And that's why the people of this country, good people who means well for this country, we should come forward and assist the president. Remember, Miriam, what President Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to confront is something which was given by which was said by the founding fathers of this nation. We talk about poverty, talk about ignorance, talk about disease. Something which we have not achieved for the last 50 years, you think can be achieved for 2 years if people are not committed? Miriam, the best gift President Uhuru Kenyatta got was the handshake. They have identified. And in fact, let me just narrow this one and forget about the other agendas. Can he narrow in and send people to prison? He will come to be remembered because of that, because if people respect the money, the budget, the money which have been budgeted for this country, and that's why Dr. Masanga, you know, is speaking from international perspective and we are having comparative politics of what has been done elsewhere. He must be in charge.
Thank you, Miriam.
Thank God, Miriam. Democracy and has evolved and Kenya has matured. His father used to cane ministers.
Yes.
And let me tell you, Miriam.
Now you are talking.
It is because people do not understand law. Still, President Trump has got executive powers. He doesn't need you to issue executive orders. The president has got powers to call the CS finance. Even the so-called deputy president. Because if anything goes AY is, we cannot ask the CS finance. We cannot ask the deputy president. The president of the Republic, Kenyatta, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, is the one who will be asked. What is the answers I'm hearing? Who is this defying my directives? So Miriam, what I'm trying to say, and that's why sometimes I thank the Prime Minister. He means well for this country. Let us assist the president and now Kenyans, Daniel and Karen. You know, I have been in this country for some time and I've done my bit. And I'm still doing it. If you don't speak, but I thank God for this television, Punchline Africa, we are trying to mentor you. But they use the social media to demand those people are not respecting the present directive. This is what people should be treating. Because if the president says that procurement procedures are followed, who gains? He normally says the young people and the people with disabilities, they get 30%. Some of these people in the office, they make companies in the name of their children. You are supposed to demand. Article 25 of the Kenyan Constitution gives Kenyans the mandate to ask who has gotten this procurement. The president is not saying in vain. He is following the Constitution. So, Miriam, let us not take this part of the president that is doing this. We are supposed, as a civil citizen of this country, to demand and ask, why are the directives of the president not being followed? What is Parliament doing, honestly? They do oversight role, and the president has said this. Why can't they? Have you seen them asking the DCO, asking the CS to come and do that one from 2018? So, Miriam, as I have identified these things, I've talked of corruption. It has become endemic. It has become a cancer. It fights back. It goes round and it goes like a python. Miriam, the area politics of 22 should stop. And in fact, that is what is drained. You know, if someone has decided today to be obeying and following someone, Miriam, I recommend the people of Kenya, may they follow the bee, wafuate nyuki, watakura asali. Wakiendelea kufuata enzi, is it enzi or what? Housefly. It will lead them to the toilet. What you need to do, what I'm trying to say, Miriam, is this. If we support the president, they will achieve his big four: universal healthcare, affordable housing, manufacturing, which will create employment, food security. This for the good for the people of Kenya.
All right, very well there. Thank you so much. And Doctor, with the story we started with there on the scandal at KEMSA, what perhaps got the CS in trouble is when he gave a suggestion to the CEO of KEMSA to please hold on a bit as he sources out from local manufacturers, but apparently KEMSA had other plans and had already made perhaps some orders there. So we see CS Cargo is trying to work in line with the policies that have been laid by the president there, who has appointed him and has given him a job to do. But of course, now we see, corruption is fighting back. Of course, that case is under investigation, so we'll just leave that there. So we see if you're trying to implement some of these things, you're met with a lot of force from people who will not want you to change the status quo. And also there are people here who refuse at all to do what they've been asked to do, like in the case of the National Treasury and these other ministries. They refused to link the e-procurement system to IFMIS. This was a directive the president gave over 2 years ago. I mean, heads should start rolling right now, Doctor, even as we conclude. And this seems to be some of the biggest challenges and obstacles that might cost President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy, if not checked early.
Let's finish it this way and let it be the last statement. Because we don't want to miss 1 minute of the other show.
No, you're the last one. We're done, yes.
On page 9 of the Star, there is this face of this woman. You know her. She's called Justice Mwilu. A few years ago, a few months ago, last year, I predicted. I don't know why people here don't listen to me. You people listen to me. I am Paul, not related to the other Paul, but Paul preaching in Judea. I told you there was a plan in the judiciary to overthrow President Uhuru Kenyatta by Maraga and the woman. What has served us in the treasury is both of them are on parallels. But should they have worked together, by now we would be having no parliament. These guys were determined to overthrow this government before it finishes 5 years, to make it a record. Remember, Maraga has got a date with George Soros. Alipokea pesa za George Soros kungoa election zetu. Actually, it was yesterday that Maraga destroyed our livelihood in Kenya. Paid twice. Kenya paid twice for an election. So, looking at this headline, DPP opposes order stopping JSC probe of Mwilu. There was no need of Mwilu failing to take a plea. Mwilu was a criminal. Mwilu was found laundering money with terrorist groups. That is very high integrity question for a judge in the court to launder money with a terrorist organization. It's too bad for this country. I pray for you people. May God help you people. I think one day you will think about me. I have preached in Judea and I have failed. Maybe one day somebody will wake up and think of what King Herod did. I want to thank all of you that King Herod was a hero. He came back and rebuilt Jerusalem, a new Jerusalem. You remember the man who burnt it down. But remember also, that when you act like a Herod, you have a problem. You are liked. We have a broken church. Let's end it on this note. Our church is broken. Champlain, I'm sorry. I don't know which one you go to, which is the 7th-day Saturday church. I don't know whether it is broken because I haven't seen you so much in this chaos like the chaos we have in the other churches. Do you remember Kaisai? Kaisai. All of you know who Kaisai is.
Caesar.
The high priest.
Caesar.
Let's leave it there. Let's close. You remember the high priest used to teach the same Christianity. You remember? Together, the same. He believed there was something that was doing something, but he didn't know what it is. But Jesus came and said, no, it is me, the son of that something. Abafarisayo, ne bamugana. The Pharisees refused Jesus and they listened to Kaisayo. Omusajja wa Kaisayo, and they killed Jesus. How many high priests are here? How many high priests? Check yourselves. Have you seen the high priests who are harassing the president? Yet we are talking of the same. We are in the same party. We are preaching the same manifesto, but they are high priests. That is the 5 o'clock thought of the day. If you missed it, Miriam, this time I sent it at exactly 5:23. Don't say you never saw it.
I was asleep.
And I'm going to be waking you up every time that hour.
My phone is on mute. You can't find
Yeah,
me.
you will find, no, not waking you by disrupting any other coordinated activity.
Mine are coordinated, don't worry. But I hear you, doctor. Thank you so much. Let's just end it so
I will
that
be waking you up by sending it to you.
Daudi.
All right.
And oh no, Daudi is.
Thank you. Let's just end it because our time is eating up into the other show so that we can come back. Doctor.
Yes, ma'am. I have ended up by saying there are so many high priests. Kaifasayo, Abakaifasayo, Webali. What do you call it in Swahili? Was the teacher, Madam?
Mafarisayo.
Eh?
Mafarisayo.
Tuko na Mafarisayo wengi. Wesonga, how do you call it?
I think it's something like Mafarisayo.
Okay. And my brother, what do you call it in your language?
Abafarisayo.
And Miriam?
Miriam will end up with a tweet from a DP, William Ruto, that he tweeted, I think, after last night's interview. And he said the corruption, in quotes, consultants, brokers and conmen, some bankrupt in 2013 are now billionaires after looting while scapegoating William Samoei Ruto. Their overgrown impunity is shameless, making them still even from the sick in a pandemic. The end is near. Nowhere to hide, no more scapegoating. And Doctor, maybe today I'll agree with you. Perhaps it's not DP that is making these tweets.
You have not been agreeing with me, but Jesus goes my way.
All right.
All the time. He opens more doors. It's not me. I told you I am Paul preaching in Judea.
All right. All right.
Time will come when I will leave Judea. Whatever comes after that, I don't know. Read the 5 a.m. thought of Dr. David Nyekorach Matsanga, son of soil. The only soil man on the continent of Africa, right from the political command center of the trend, legacy trend, to the political command center of Punchline Africa Television, connected all the way from Malindi, from CBD, from the central, Professor Wanyari. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Let's meet in the next session. Coming next, the ICC. African countries stupid. That's the summary.
All right. We'll see.
Yes, we call upon all African heads of state to listen to my statement. Are you stupid?
All right. Don't go too
And I'm not insulting anybody. I am not saying all of you are stupid. But listen, maybe you are stupid. Then you'll find your level. Are you really, do you really see what is coming? There are people. Don't go away. Don't miss this show. It's going to be hot. Woo.
All right.
Thank you.
We shall be back.
And don't go away. Karen from Malindi. You need to listen in.
Yes, I'm here.
It looks like you have picked your papers already.
No, not really.
In fact, Karen, this week you enjoyed that place so much.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.